shaking on Shakedown Street. Used to be the heart of town. Don't tell me this town ain't got no heart. You just gotta poke around.
Dude, welcome to the brand new podcast setup. What do you think?
Dude, it's great.
Isn't it pretty cool?
It's really great.
Yeah, good thing you have glasses and a hat. You don't have to. You were ready for this. It's like the sun.
Except for again, showing my thighs off. But,
I think the people want that, though.
I do. I've been getting a lot of demands from the people.
Oh, absolutely. Especially with those tattoos, that spiral tattoo on the knee.
Yep.
Shows you're, a little edgy.
Yeah.
But also maybe a little trippy, a little interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could cut you or tell you about psychedelic. I don't know.
Yeah, tell you about psychedelic therapy, maybe.
Something, yeah.
Or Burning Man or something.
So is this related? Are we going to talk about beans and coffee?
Oh,
or no?
Yeah,
This
is all about coffee. So I just wanted to interview you because you just have a deep knowledge. So I figured we would do an hour and a half about, the industry, the farms,
This is what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. No, it's Naked with Your Neighbors. It's a brand new concept. I've been sitting on doing a podcast for like a long time, for like 5 years. And Naked with Your Neighbors was going to be the name. And I was like, nah, it's too off-putting. People are going to be like, oh, what are they naked in a hot tub? And which I'm sure you thought, but friggin' Joel convinced me that it was totally the call. Cool. He was like, dude, no, it works. Naked with Your Neighbors, like that's so you.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be not 11th hour, like it's supposed to be kind of like a digital kind of a digital version of the cafe, like having regulars on. Like yesterday I got to interview the mayor of Santa Cruz.
Shut the fuck up.
Fred Keeley, baby.
First off, we have a mayor.
That is exactly why I wanted to interview him.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, are you preparing for it? And I was like, no, I think that people want to know like my questions,
like what?
Which is like, is there a mayor? Are you elected? Were you elected? Were you anointed?
Yeah, what's your job?
Yeah.
What's your deal? There's a lot of overflowing trash. Is that you, or should I get mad at somebody else?
Should we mad at you for the homeless issue?
Yeah.
I'm curious.
What do I not like you for?
Yeah.
Because I know I don't like you, but I'm not smart enough to know why.
Dude, that's why he's mayor.
Yeah.
So it turns out I learned a lot. He's the first mayor that was elected for a 4-year term. Before him, it was only appointed mayor. Like the council.
Appointed?
The council would just
weird.
appoint the next mayor.
Yeah.
And they would have like a 1-year term as a mayor.
The council.
Yeah, right.
Who's even in the council?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh my God.
Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Many of you.
The council.
But yeah, so I mean, it's kind of a community podcast. I like to take phone calls while I'm up here.
I thought that was the intro.
And are we good, Joel? Everything's good? Okay, cool.
Does Joel get in here too?
Joel does not get in here as of yet.
Oh, so you'll just be like the guy off screen that will periodically just be like,
hey, could you look that up?
hey, do you remember that time, Joel? It was cool, right? All right, we'll talk later.
Yeah. But this is the 4th one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and we just got all this like nice equipment and lighting and stuff.
Yeah.
And multiple camera angles. Pop.
Oh, damn. Ooh, that's going to be an upskirt.
That's going to be a good one.
That's
an
upskirt shot.
That's an upskirt shot. But yeah, make sure there's like, you can just adjust it as we cruise, but make sure it's pretty close. Just because like if it'll be able to hear you either way, but it's nice to have the same volume from both of us. Otherwise it feels a little schwunky.
We'll just keep it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, also, wait, unscrew that knob.
Okay.
Unscrew that. And now you can really
get it up in there.
Wait, yeah. Which way's loose?
I think I got it.
Okay,
I feel pretty good.
Okay, cool.
I'll go a little slouchy.
So we welcome today Tyler Hinz, who I've met many years ago. He runs our podcast, he runs our podcast here. He runs our comedy event at the cafe and is a local and non-local comedian. And who knows what we'll chat about today, but he's a good friend and kind of a funny guy every once in a while. And be sure and check out our comedy event every What is it, Tyler?
Every first Saturday
Of every month.
of every month. Next one is in 2 days, June 7th.
2 days. So hopefully we are efficient and we put this out before it happens this Saturday. But it's always an amazing event. I feel like it's like, one of the most consistently good comedy events that happens with like comedians from not just Santa Cruz, which I think is the coolest part, that you actually bring comedians down from the Bay, from down south, and you get to get roasted a little bit better when people are from out of town, you know?
Yes, because they see all the dumb stuff that we don't want to acknowledge about the place in which we grew up.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Yeah, wait, which high school did you go to?
Oh no, I went to high school in San Jose. I went to Valley Christian.
Yeah, I was like, you didn't go to
No.
high school.
I lived in Watsonville. And so I'm not really anything close to a local, but I lived in Wattsville. My parents were worried that I would do drugs at that school. So they sent me to a school where kids could afford better drugs.
Oh my God.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, where they can actually afford the good cocaine.
Yes, yeah, and their parents weren't around because they don't actually love them. So it was good.
Yeah, which means they can have house parties whenever, and they drive a nice lifted white truck, I'd say.
Yes, but also I was a very good Christian kid. So
were you really?
Oh yeah, I didn't do any of that.
You didn't
stuff.
do any drugs until adulthood, huh? You're one of those.
Not until I was 21, because them's the rules. That's when I was allowed to
rules.
drink.
Now I can finally discover who I am through drugs.
Yes.
Nice.
But mostly just heroin. Yeah. It's a great discovery process. Turns out I'm just an addict. That's what I've learned.
Yeah, first it was exploring, then I realized it was a deeper thing.
Yeah, it was deeper.
Yeah. What's that quote? In your third, like, what is it? Wait, am I?
It's not gay if you're thinking about a chick.
No,
Okay,
no. That's something just for you. But am I experimenting, or do I have issues, or am I just fun?
It's probably
your
both.
20s are for figuring out, do I have issues or am I just fun? Yeah, and then you hit 30 and you're like, I'm both.
Yeah, and then if you hit 40 and you're still going, it's like, I'm a problem. That is,
Oh, absolutely.
maybe a fun problem, but
So, I guess a little bit of history. Dude, they just keep calling me. Should we answer? Santa Clarita, California.
the whole city needs you. Well, you did speak with the mayor last week of Santa Cruz.
Yeah, I think they're after me. Let's answer it.
that's probably a hit piece.
Hello, this is Braden.
Hi, I just had a quick question. I was wondering if you guys are doing trivia this evening.
We are doing trivia this evening, for sure. Yep.
Do you know what time it's starting?
Yeah, it will start at 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah. Not quite sure how you got my number, but she called 4 times in order to figure out
She fucking
it was
really.
trivia. And to get my number of all people to call 4 times. Come on, man.
She's got connections. Also, you got to get this podcast out even faster because trivia is tonight, and do people need to know about
Oh,
it?
dude, that's a great clip to mark a trivia
That's
about
a great
there.
trip.
Good thing I answered.
And we at least know one woman's gonna go. So if everybody wants to hang out with this one girl,
If you like the sound of her voice, definitely show
Yeah.
up tonight because she'll be there.
did you list the owner's phone number on the website? Why is she
No,
calling
so
you?
like back in the day, I had my phone number as the 11th hour number, like if you call. And obviously that changed and we have a shop number or whatever. But I think specifically on Apple Maps or something for like years, because I would always get calls. I'm like, how am I the one they're calling, you know? And we took it off of Google, we took it off of the website, you know, and it was just the new number. But then none of us had Apple phones then. And so for the longest time, just on Apple Maps, when you looked up 11th hour, if you called the number, it would be my phone number. And we found that out after like 2 years.
Okay, so that woman just hasn't updated her internet yet.
I think she hasn't updated. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That has to be it. I don't know. Or it's somewhere on the ether. I don't know.
Or was that your sister or maybe even your mom and you just forgot?
Let's hope not.
like, I'll
dude.
fucking
I hope
handle these.
I don't think I have a sister.
Oh, you don't? Oh, wow.
No.
This is actually a really important podcast that
It
we just
is.
discovered. Call
We
her
did.
back.
Call
and
her
say,
back.
How long have I not known about
Have
you?
I've
Missed you for so long.
you. Like, I'm sorry. I had no idea you existed.
Yeah.
So I got tons of questions for you today,
Okay.
but I want to get in on a little bit of the basics, dude. So you were saying you grew up in San Jose, Let's do a little bio for the people. Who are you? You know, how did you slowly get into comedy and why? That's where we're headed.
Grew up in Watsonville in the Santa Cruz Mountains, but went to high school in San Jose because my parents thought there would be
A little bit closer.
Oh, my parents thought
There we go. You hear
there'd
that?
be,
You hear that?
I'll just
Yeah.
tickle the back of it the whole time. Keep it close. No, my parents.
Also, if you lean back, then you can go like that. So you're like, you know, you're stationary. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, right in your fucking mouth, dude.
Can we swear on this?
Oh yeah,
WT heck.
dude, you can
Let's
do whatever
go.
you want on this.
Oh my lord, golly gee.
Oh,
Let me get this.
Golly jeepers, my Christian boy can finally come out.
Cocksucker. That
So
did feel good. Pussy. This is fun.
Cunt.
Ooh, that one, I can't do that.
That one hits.
I don't like it.
I always say every once in a while just to test myself.
Just to see how you feel.
Yeah.
I'll say it alone to myself in the shower, and then,
I think it's an issue when you
Yeah.
don't you say it and you feel nothing,
really,
because then you don't realize the sharpness of it.
yeah, the shortness of a woman's cunt.
There we go. Whoa, you have to bring women into it.
Sorry, if a person, anybody can have it. Okay, no, from Watsonville and the Central Coast Mountains. My parents thought there'd be better Christians in San Jose. I don't know why, so commuted to go there.
Okay.
Wild, but no, why'd I get into comedy?
When did you get into comedy?
Oh, when did I get into? I got into comedy while I was in law school because I was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I was not a good law student, and so instead
Yeah.
of studying, I was thinking about how could I like go out and speak my truth.
Oh my god, hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
as a white guy, it's like
In
people
a
need
way,
this. Yeah.
I feel like a lawyer is seeking the truth in the same way the comedian is. They're just trying to make sure they have a zone
Yeah.
to make sure it's right, you know?
I think so, but I went to law school for money and prestige, and I couldn't think of anything else to do.
What happened?
What happened? What do we do?
Here, wait, hold on.
What happened to Joel?
I don't know.
Naked. Oh, you guys! I didn't even notice there's a light back there. Ooh.
Gotta keep my handy dandy.
You should get.
Dude, so yeah, for my birthday, my girlfriend
Uh-huh.
got me this "Naked with Your Neighbors" neon sign as a surprise, and I was like, dude,
It's beautiful.
freaking sweetest gift ever. Isn't it great? It goes up. Check it.
Damn.
Dun, da, da, da.
That's pretty sweet.
Pretty bright, if you ask me.
Also, I've got a really good, feng shui interior design idea for this. A terrarium.
A terrarium.
Yeah, get like a chameleon over there.
Oh, there we go.
I think that'd be pretty
A
good.
chameleon.
Yeah, get a couple chameleons.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you
Yes.
could bring them out for the guests to hold if they're nervous, if they're fidgety.
Oh, I love that.
I'm in.
I love that. I think that maybe better than maybe like a chinchilla would work better for that.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Dude, a nice, soft, freaking chinchilla.
Although they're dusty as shit.
I mean, if you give them dust.
Well, have you ever had a chinchilla?
I have, yeah.
Okay,
No.
okay, 'cause
I
they
have.
got the-
So dusty.
Yeah,
They
'cause-
literally just have this like coursed,
Yeah.
stratified dust in their skin.
Well, don't they also have to bathe? Like
They bathe in the dust.
They bathe in dust.
That's how they keep it so soft.
My parents.
Just like my cat.
Oh wow.
My cat Boots loves to get like cleaned through the dust.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Your kitty cat.
Yeah, my kitty cat Boots.
I didn't know if that was a euphemism for your like lady, and I'm like, let it roll in the dust.
my girlfriend loves to stay clean in the dust. My little kitty girlfriend.
Yeah, it's healthy for her. It's good for her immune system.
Oh.
No, but chinchilla. I had one growing up, and it was so like my whole room was just disgusting with dust because it would roll all the time. So, but other than that,
Absolutely. How long did you have it?
he lasted like 16 years for a chinchilla.
16 years.
Yeah, for a
That's
chinchilla that was kind of a
way too long.
yeah.
And you took care of it for 16 years.
No, my family. I went off to college, so my parents had to do that.
I
yeah.
see. See, yeah, it was my mom's chinchilla. Yeah,
Okay.
so she
All
it was
right,
also
yeah.
hers. And then I also had a hedgehog.
Damn.
So kind of the
those things are so
opposite of a
cute.
chinchilla, same size,
Yeah.
but opposite, texture. They are cute, but they also. Do you want to know my hedgehog's name?
Of course. Is this?
Quilliam.
Oh, thank you. I thought you were going to say Sonic, and I was going to get real mad and punch you in the nipple.
You should definitely slap me. No, but
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Quilliam
Quilliam's great.
came up with it. Oh
Mm-hmm.
man.
Do you want to know my chinchilla's name?
Chimichurri.
No, Romeo.
Rome. Why?
I guess I only liked half the play. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I think maybe I thought I'd get a Juliet, and then apparently we couldn't because they made or something.
Oh, that's
We
funny.
didn't want little like chinchillas, and we'd have to,
Yeah, no, little pets like that they're more commitment than I think I knew. So when I got the hedgehog, it was like a birthday present from my mom when I was like 19. And because I said I really wanted one. She's like, you sure?
I thought it was your mom's.
No, that's the chinchilla.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was hers.
Oh,
But
the
then
hedgehog.
The hedgehog was
yeah.
mine. She gifted it to me for my 19th birthday. And I had it for a year, and then I sold it because I was like, dude, he was so skittish and so, like he would just curl up into a ball he'd go, and it was like, dude, like I've had you for a year, dog. Like, relax.
He was just scared every time you held him.
Every time you held him or picked him up or got near him.
Sounds like he had some real deep traumas from his
Well, I mean, abandonment was definitely there.
childhood.
Much like every animal in a freaking cage.
Yeah.
Like cats are different. Cats aren't in a cage, right? But you get animals in a cage, like I don't know if it's always the call or ever the call.
Yeah. I guess that would be, jarring if our existence was living in this space and periodically once a day, some giant hand were to come in.
Just come down and just pick us up.
Yeah.
And then either you're going to die or he's going to put you right back in here. And you're like, God damn it. The world is amazing out here.
Yeah.
And then you don't get to see the rest.
Yeah. And we're like, oh, we love our pets, but only as long as it's in like a 1 to 2 foot compartment and can't live the life it was meant to.
Oh, exactly.
That's how much I love mine.
Yeah, it's really fucked up. But I do love cats and dogs because I think that's a synergistic, like a dog don't want to be out in the forest alone hunting, at least at this point. And a cat also very built for manipulation and just, wants to use you to feed it and to pet it. And I think it's pretty happy with the situation.
I'm all for domestic cats. I got a problem with a bunch of street cats that live on my street right now.
Street cats are crazy. Yeah, I was in Costa Rica. They were everywhere.
Oh, it's like there's so many cats on this street, and they keep mating, and people keep feeding them. And it's getting to the summertime, so they'll lay on the concrete in the sun with their bellies up. And when I walk by, they like lift their heads up like I'm interrupting them. They're like, hey, what's up? Huh? What are you taking a picture? Like, look at this. And it's like, I get really annoyed. And all I could think about is how much I wish coyotes could make it to this area.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's the thing. Like, that's why cats are such gangsters. And they don't give a shit about you. Is like, they can make it on the streets.
Yeah.
And they do fine.
These ones are
There's no hunting in the streets, but they do fine because they just know how to make a human tick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And dogs, like, it just doesn't work. Like, you never see, like, help the cats. It's like, adopt a dog, please. These poor dogs.
Yeah.
Cats.
You're right. I don't know what your Instagram or TikTok algorithm is, but I get a lot of these abandoned dogs being rescued. Other than a cat that might have been, like, in some sort of predicament, there's never this thing of, oh, this poor street cat needs your help. It's like, it doesn't need your help.
It doesn't.
In fact, it's starting...
it might fuck you over.
Yeah, it's starting to rule over the local territory. We actually might need to do a coup to oust this cat from its power.
Did you see, Death, Love, and Robots? That Netflix show?
I watched a couple.
They're like 5-minute long episodes.
Yeah.
One of them is literally a concept of the house cat is at home, and these two fucking humans bring in a AI robot that does dishes and helps out everyone and da-da-da. And the robot hears the cat meow, picks up on its language, and then talks to the cat. And the cat's like, you speak the native tongue. And he's like, oh yeah, I picked up on it. And then the cat manipulates the AI robot to take over the world.
Oh my God, that's great.
And what an amazing.
That's great.
Right?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, no, because it's I feel like cats tolerate and love us selectively. That's why it feels that way. Whereas a dog, it's like this undying, unending. It's like, oh, I was in my house all day. You weren't here and you're back.
No.
This is the
greatest
moment.
The dog will starve with you. It will live on the streets with you. It will be loyal to you.
Yeah.
It will go through whatever you need to go through with it if you have a loyal dog. But a cat, its loyalty is selective to what their needs are.
Although, okay, I did read this book about what animals think about death this year. It's a great book.
Interesting.
It's an interesting book. But have you ever heard that thing about cats and dogs about how they eat the owner's face after they die?
Cats and dogs and how they. No. That's just cats.
Oh no, they've seen some dogs. Well, so they've seen some dogs nibble at an owner's face, and that cats will do it too. And they said that it's less about, taking over, like dominating or being hungry or anything like that, but it's they recognize something's different in the person, and so they start kind of testing the person and eating the face, trying to get some sort of reaction out of them because they know it's off.
Oh, and
Yeah.
they don't know why.
And
they're
not-
like, wait, hold on. My human usually is moving around.
Right.
And it doesn't lay down this long, and they know something's wrong.
So they're trying to get a
And
reaction
so-
out of the dead body.
Oh my God, that's really sad.
It's really sad, but it's
That's really sad. They're like, hey, wake up, wake up, wake up.
yeah, exactly. But it's way better than that thing where they made it seem like, oh, the animal's disloyal and it doesn't give a fuck about you.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
There's
it-
like, I think
yeah.
a Joe Rogan
No.
joke where he's like,
Yeah.
a cat doesn't give a fuck about you. When you die, it's gonna eat your fucking face off.
I mean, Joe Rogan would not peddle misinformation, so I don't appreciate you saying that. He would never lead people in a different direction. I have
Yeah,
no
you're
problem
right.
with you. I have no problem with that shit. But I'm all for saying whatever you feel like. Yeah.
That was a good one. All right, so wait, I guess back to the topic at hand, comedy.
comedy.
So you got into comedy in law school,
Yes, I got
and you were in law school at what age?
mid-20s.
Mid-20s.
Mid-20s. So this is like
And you're
15.
what, 40 now?
No, I just hit 40.
No way, I nailed it.
Right on the head.
Nice.
Which normally people are polite and they go at least 5 years younger.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
make
I
you
know.
Feel better, but you're
I
just
was-
like, I know. I could see those fucking face crinkles. You're definitely 40.
No, dude, it's funny because I actually said 40 to fuck with you.
Uh-huh.
I
Oh,
was
you're-
like, what are you, 40? And I was like, he's going to be like, I'm 35. Fuck
Oh,
you.
see, now you're trying to save it on the
No,
back
no.
end, so
I mean, does
figured-
that save it? I guess it does.
Yeah,
It
you
does.
always-
But that's true. It's the truth.
It's I mean, this will be a tip to all the kids. If you see somebody who you know is older than you, always guess 5 to 10 years younger.
Oh,
just so
yeah.
they can have this moment of, you thought this? And then you leave and
Yeah.
you're like, I didn't think
Yeah,
that.
they're one solace.
Yeah.
You know, they already are worried about it. Okay, so you're 40 now, but when you were 25,
25, yeah,
you were in law school.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
where'd you get your bachelor's?
UCSC.
UCSC. Let's go,
UC
baby.
Santa
Probably a
Cruz.
different culture. I want to talk to you about UCSC later.
Yeah.
I just want to run through it real quick. So, UCSC, get your bachelor's in
Yeah.
what?
English language literature.
English language literature.
Uh-huh.
Then you go to law school where?
Santa Clara University.
Santa Clara University.
Yeah.
You go to law school. Do you finish law school?
I do. I finished.
Oh my God. Finish law school.
I'm a lawyer for 5
Fucking
years.
A.
Yeah,
Good for
yeah.
you. Lawyer
Yeah.
for 5 years.
Yeah.
What age were you when you graduated law school?
I was 26, 27. So
26, 27.
Yeah, in law school, being a lawyer sucked, so I quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like honestly a big part of your comedy narrative, which is
Yeah.
fucking amazing, honestly,
Uh-huh.
is that you did do all of this. You did go to law school. You were a lawyer and you fucking hated it.
Mm-hmm.
And it went against the principle of who
Yeah.
you are as an energy, which is a freaking goofball. You know?
Well, I knew from day one in law school that this was the wrong crowd for me because everybody was so serious and like nobody had a sense of humor. I actually dated a girl my first year for a month or two in law school who,
Oh my
who
God.
didn't listen to music. She said, "Oh, I don't really like music."
Oh, I don't really like me.
You know that thing that makes you feel more alive? She's like, "No, I don't need that."
No, sorry, I don't really like that.
One time we were riding in her car for an hour.
I prefer rocks.
Yeah. No. We were in her car for an hour and she put on oral arguments from Supreme Court cases. And I was like, this is terrible.
Oh,
Just
Jesus
please just
fucking
talk to me.
Christ.
And then we would talk. It's like, please, actually, we shouldn't
Dude,
talk.
I can completely imagine what it was like because I'm imagining myself if I went to law school.
Oh, it's
And it would just be hilarious.
no, it's I did it for the wrong reasons. I couldn't think of anything to do.
That's a crazy decision to be a lawyer
Uh-huh.
if you don't know what you're going to do.
You know what's what's wild is a lot of people. So I was part of a program called Leave the Law Behind that helped lawyers get out of the law because we're just not an imaginative bunch. We're very safe, like secure, like let's do this obvious sort of path people. But yeah, and it just I knew it was wrong for me, but I just kind of persisted until 5 years into practice. I was just like, I've hated this the whole time. I don't know why I'm still doing this. So I just stopped, and I did some other things. And,
So,
you know, yeah.
and what age were you when you stopped?
32,
32.
31. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, cool. So,
So
now
you're-
that we're to comedy,
Yeah.
which is end of law school,
Yeah.
what got you into comedy? What comedians or in person? Was it a improv or a club or
So, I mean,
specials that you were watching?
I think everybody gets into comedy. At some point, it is just to simplify it, an ego, thinking like, "Oh, I think I'm pretty funny."
I think
Actually-
I'm pretty. My friends tell me, especially you
yeah.
in a world of serious, unfunny people.
Oh.
You're probably like, I'm hilarious.
No. People like that don't think I'm funny at all.
No way.
No, because they don't have sense of humors, and if they do, they definitely don't have like silly sensibilities. They
Okay,
have-
no, but that's
yeah,
what I mean is
yeah.
that, but you had to have known that they don't.
Oh yeah, I do.
And so that's why I feel like you would also recognize that I do have a sense of humor.
Yeah, or
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd say it's like I always was really interested in it wasn't just strictly stand up. I liked everything that was funny and weird and unexpected. And then I never liked stand up until I watched I don't know how old I was, but it was I think I was in junior high or high school. I watched Mike Birbiglia, who's now
Dude, I just watched his new special, Good Life.
so good. I mean,
Amazing.
He
Joel.
yeah.
That's like Joel's favorite comedian because
Mike
he sent me a
Birbiglia?
special, Mark Birbiglia, or sorry, what is it? Mike Birbiglia.
Yeah.
What was the one the new one, Joel? It was called The New One because he was having a kid and Joel was having a kid. That's how I remember.
Now he's like, he does a storyteller. He does this whole like holistic kind of experience.
I know.
But when he
has a system.
Yeah. When he first started, he was just kind of a traditional stand up where here's a minute of an idea, here's a minute of an idea. But what turned me on about him is everything was just so, because back then most comics that were kind of like prominent were these like gruff, like, I hate my wife and my family.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Or they were
they-
super slick, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
What's his name? Like the daddy,
90s?
the actor, the biggest fucking comedian in the world.
Back in the 90s, Tim Allen.
No.
But that's what I thought a comic was. It was like it was like these family
Yeah.
guys with these
I'll
dorky
come to
sense
it
of
later.
humor. Yeah, that or you know, I don't remember who else was.
But yeah, there was a certain cool, slick,
And Mike Birbiglia was just this soft-spoken dork.
soft-spoken, like not self-deprecating in like
Yeah.
I'm fat and da-da-da, but like in a I have mental health problems. I'm on
Yeah.
Zoloft for, you know, like a self-awareness and a narrative that is not glorified in any way.
I think it was because I loved I was a big fan of Futurama and
Oh my God. Yeah.
so, yeah.
Futurama. I remember that.
all that kind of sensibility, or
Yeah.
all the the Mel Brooks movies and stuff. But the first joke that Mike Birbiglia, which is probably, I don't know if it's people still think it's funny, but he told one joke in that special that just stuck with me. And that was the first time I was like, oh, you can just do stand up your own way, whatever's
Yeah.
natural to you. And the joke was
Whatever's natural and true to you that you
Yeah.
think is funny
Yeah.
about yourself or the world.
Yeah.
Like,
And he was one of the first comics who, now comics do this all the time, but they'll do this thing where they'll bring up like a rap lyric. And he was this dorky white guy. And he's like, I love Busta Rhymes. He's my favorite rapper because whenever he does a really good rap, he'll end it with just saying his name. He'll go, you know, that cat in the hat. And that was that Busta Rhymes. And then he said, I wish I could do that as a comic. Like, I wish I could tell a joke and then just kind of cap it with my name. And then he does a joke. He's like, it's Folgers. Folgers is not around anymore, but it's like the jingle for Folgers was Folgers. You know, the best part of waking up. And he's like, if the best part of waking up to me is terrible coffee, then maybe I shouldn't be waking up that day. Mike Birbiglia.
so Mike Birbiglia, that was your vibe.
That was the first time I saw a comic where I was like, oh, you can just do it however you want. And
Yeah.
then in law school, I just needed something to do that wasn't going to law school. And so I was I loved playing volleyball, and I used up all my eligibility. You get 6 years of eligibility if you play. So I played 4 years D3 and then 2 years of club, and I had nothing to do at night. So I was like, I'll just start doing stand up. And basically, you have to pretend. You kind of have to be delusional because you think when you first start out, you think that you're so actually good and about to get picked up.
Yeah.
And then
well, like, especially if you do well during the set, right? When you first start, you're like, I am killing.
Well, but also you don't have a context for what killing is.
Right.
So if I watch early sets that I used to think were good and it's just like, oh no.
Oh no, dude. Oh my God. It is
yeah.
the most humbling experience, I bet.
yeah.
And just terrible. Like, I would hate to go back. I watch, sorry, you freaking Topo Chico.
Yeah,
Makes you burp immediately.
That's why they're not sponsoring. Could you turn
No.
that label the other way? Actually,
no,
they are
thank
not
you.
a sponsor of this.
You're gonna have to burp in a little bit.
Okay,
Like, no,
you.
no. Even watching old YouTube videos that I did when I was like 24.
Yeah.
Like, it's so cringe. It's
You have a
so
YouTube channel.
no,
What would you talk about?
dude. I would freestyle rap.
Oh my God, this is great. How did you not come up with you're gonna shit in a little bit? Then?
Right. But it's so hard to watch, and it's just because I think it's very difficult to view yourself trying and not being 100%. Like, in your head, you know how good you could be or how good it could be. And like, when you have to start something, a new art form or whatever, put yourself out there, it's going to be very hard.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to be amazing, and you're going to have to deal with that in order to get better. And it's terrible.
Well, it's with new comics, if they will at all let me, mansplain to them about what I think they should do.
Right.
I always encourage them to not put up any material for a few years, because they don't because everybody thinks they're really amazing when you start. But
Yeah, like they put out reels or TikToks of them doing comedy.
And they're just still baby comics. Like, they're going to figure it out. They're going to be funny if they stick around and they grow.
Yeah.
But it's like, you shouldn't put it out there too soon because it's just not there yet.
Yeah. It's kind of like, if you have a dream, keep it close to your heart.
Yeah.
Like,
Keep it a secret.
keep it a secret until you're ready.
Yeah. Or I think I heard Gerard Carmichael, and I've also read this like with other people too. Well, granted, he's a different level. I'm pretty middle good to whatever. But he said that the first time he got offered an HBO special, he turned it down because he knew it wouldn't be good enough. And he waited a year or two later, and then he said yes. And it's the same idea where it's like, make sure the content you're putting out isn't just content, but that it's high quality.
It's high quality,
And, like,
because you are building a brand.
Yeah.
Like your brand of comedy.
I heard Seinfeld say 5 years in comedy to find your voice and 10 years to get good at it. And I would even say, for myself in particular, I feel like I was like a slower bake than a lot of other comics, because there were comics when I first started who I thought figured it out within 3 or 5 years, and I was like, shit, I'm not very good. I'm not going to be able to figure it out. But I think I've figured out what I do now, and I've got a good, like, I could do an hour and have it be pretty serviceable. So
That's amazing.
Yeah.
To do an hour and feel like what you said, so like you can, it's fluid enough, and you're with it enough, you're comfortable enough to keep that progression is very amazing, very impressive.
Yeah.
How long did it take you how many years did it take you to get to have a full hour?
Oh, geez. No, I mean,
Like, for the first time,
get to do it.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I probably not so again, I think that I was slower than a lot of comics.
Yeah.
And that, like, most comics will hit it, and they were doing shows every night. When I first started doing like 3 to 4 shows, a week. And I've always been somebody where it's like, I can't do too many or I get burnt out. I've always been like 2 to 4. A lot of comics would be like every night, multiple sets.
because it's a new audience, so they're doing the same jokes, and they're maybe they're doing some new ones, but like they're really testing out this stuff.
And I've just been somebody where it's like, I think I'm growing, I'm getting better, but I just have to take space away. I can't write if I'm doing shows. I have to like take time off, and even now I'll do like 3 weeks on, take a week off from comedy. So what I'm saying, it's different for everybody, but I was about an hour in when somebody asked me to do 45, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I did it, and it's like, okay, I can do it fairly. Like, it used to, everybody, every year, you probably would say yes to something like that. Like, oh, I could do 45.
Yeah.
But the content's really bad, where it's like 10 minutes of it's comedy and 35 minutes.
It's like you like twiddling your thumbs, dicking around.
Yeah, it should be 10 minutes of comedy and then 35 minutes of, I am so sorry that I'm still talking.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so sorry that this is still happening.
Yeah. And then that's the hard part, is to actually fill the space with substance all the way through, which I think is what Mike Birbiglia, like that style of doing a special or an hour, it is like really story based, but then anecdotal from those stories, and like, and then it has that continuation,
totally.
where I can see why it's almost easier. Like it's easier for me to watch a comedian if they're comfortable, and I feel like when they're comfortable, it's like I know that they know where they're going,
right?
You know, I know that they know where they're at, and I think that is easier to do jokes almost. I mean, I've never done it, but I've like watching. I feel like it's easier. I see people when it's very story heavy. I guess, you know, and progression to a point, like through like, you know, towards the end.
Well, and he's also otherworldly. Like that is like, he's one of those people where he'll perform and people and doing it's like, oh my God, it's and then they think that it's easy, and like what he does is different. And also I should say, like, people at his level, the way he gets to practice will be different than the rest of us, because he'll have an audience of willing participants sit there for 40 minutes and let them struggle in a way that they would not tolerate with me. But
absolutely.
No, he's
do you want a coffee or anything?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, sick. What do you want?
Give me just do a cappuccino.
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 Yeah. You got a latte there, but I'll get you a cappuccino.
No, I want a cappuccino. I want more coffee, less milk. I'm a good coffee drinker. Wait, what was I?
Do you want decaf or regular?
Regular.
Sick.
I want to get jacked up. Oh, I am jet lagged.
Juiced. Oh yeah, dude. You were just in Greenland?
I was in Greenland. That was great. It was beautiful and weird. So I liked it. But oh no, what was I was talking about? No, Mike Birbiglia made, you know, kind of to your point, like the confidence point. I love that confidence point, because that's what I think it is with when you see a comedian become more experienced at no matter what their talent level is. Because I just want to acknowledge, like, some of the people we'll talk about, I think, are incredibly talented and work ethic and stuff. And it's like, and I'm good. I'm, you know, not Mike Birbiglia though.
No.
But there's a
no one is.
He barely
one
is.
Of one.
Yeah.
He barely is.
Barely is. Fuck that guy. Also, he's not going to hear this. And if he does hear it, I'm sorry.
Dude, if he hears this, we are doing well in the world.
Dude, that's great. Congrats. Oh my God.
Yeah,
maybe
right?
Topo Chico will sponsor you.
Yeah.
That'll be good. Yeah. No, but it's another comic who I really love. I think said it best was so Anthony Jeselnik, one of my favorites.
Dude, he's like literally one of my favorites. I found him so early on.
Yeah.
Comedy Central days.
Dude.
He again, brand.
Yeah.
It is a hyper specific thing he's doing, and it is so dialed, and nobody can do what he does like he does it. Like the cynicism, the style of joke. You think you're going to get over it. You're going to be like, fuck off. You're going to choose the most fucked up option, and it's not going to surprise me. And then he still surprises you with how fucked up it is. Or like, I didn't see that you were going to go that way.
Oh, he's amazing.
He's just a surprise comic, basically.
Oh, I like to call it like tricks.
He's a trickster.
He's so good at misdirection. And like you said, you know he's going to go someplace fucked up
every time.
But you also know that he is going to misdirect good enough that when you get there, you're like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, you're like, you got me again. I didn't think you were going to get me, but you got me again.
I always know he's going to get
He's a fucking trickster, bro.
He's so great. Well,
it's very intellectual in a lot of ways.
Well, the way he thinks about comedy, if you ever listen to his podcast, his philosophy on it and his views are so interesting, and
they are. I listened to one, and I remember being like, "Whoa!" He's really has a very incredible view on comedy, and a very specific view on comedy.
He's so insightful. But one of the things that I heard him say early on was about what the audience wants from you as a comic. The audience and you kind of said this with Mike Birbiglia. The audience wants you to take control. They want you to take control, and they want to just feel like you know what they're doing, and they're just riding with you. And it's like,
that is so. That is it.
It's it,
and it's so funny. It's like that is so true for any performer ever.
Oh, if
you need to take control of the room.
Yeah,
they are here to see you, and you have exactly what they need. Like you are confident. I am going to guide us this evening, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to let y'all dictate this night. Y'all paid to be submissive.
Yeah. But it's so
It's really
true.
BDSM at the end of the day.
Well, it's so one thing that I always recommend people do in the Bay Area is at some point go to a show on Sunday at the Punchline in San Francisco, because it's basically their Bay Area showcase, and they'll have a whole different, like, they'll have some comics who are new, and then those who are established and either passing through and visiting, or they're established within the area and they're the best comics in the area.
Yeah.
And just when you see the difference between a new comic trying to take over a room and an established one, there's just this different energy to it. Like the way they carry themselves, the way they handle like awkward moments and everything.
Yeah.
It's just, even if you come on Saturday, most of the comics are pretty great, and some are, there's one or two who are newer, and so this is them, stretching their legs a little bit and getting better.
Very cool.
You feel the difference between it, but it's what's really fun is those ones who are new. Sometimes when they do hit it, it's really exciting for that energy. But also just when they start getting it is probably the coolest thing. Yeah,
absolutely. That's really cool. What's it called again?
So Sunday, it's at San Francisco Punchline's a comedy club in San Francisco. It's great. It's my favorite.
Nice.
And then Saturday, obviously, it's the show, 11th Hour Comedy.
Yeah, baby.
You got to come to it.
Yeah,
that's
nice.
right. I'll do all new jokes unless you're not laughing. I'll do
my old ones.
I'll do a lot of. I'll do other people's jokes. I just want you to laugh.
Yeah. I'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
I'm a people pleaser.
I am. I will take my pants off.
Need be. So, what I wanted to go back to how you got into comedy, that style of comedy, and then how old were you when you first did your first stand-up?
Oh, fucking! I was 25.
25. Oh, so you did it when you were in law school?
I was in law school. It was that summer. I couldn't think of any. I was just like, I emailed an open mic and said, hey, what does someone have to do to get on? They're like, oh, you just email us. You're on next week. I'm like, no. Let's not do that. And then I did it. And then I thought I was good. Yeah. I was like, oh, I'm talented.
Did you have friends with you?
Yeah.
And did they tell you were?
Thank you. Oh, yeah, Joel.
Ooh. Heck yeah. Is that perfect? Dude, this is why I want to do the podcast down here, because it's like I feel like anyone that gets to come on, it's such a nice experience. You get to be on the couch, you got coffee, you get to just kind of kick it, and it's right here next to the cafe, so it's not like a secluded thing.
It's pretty nice.
You know, people can walk in, come on in.
Like I said, I did not know I was going to be on camera. I would not have.
Did you not know that?
No, I wouldn't.
Oh my god, that's awesome! I should have told you.
I wouldn't have shown as much skin, but it is
totally.
It is naked with your neighbor.
It is naked with your neighbors. I'll just take off something so we're equal.
Start with your socks.
Yeah.
I'm a foot guy.
Yeah. I'll take my shoes off.
Ooh.
So how did it go? Legit, you thought you did well, but no.
No, I brought friends to the show, and so friends are very supportive. The great thing about bringing and what sucks is like what happens when you first start is when you bring a bunch of friends to shows because you want them to see what you're doing.
Oh my, absolutely. And there's like a motivation there to impress them.
But the thing is, if they're decent friends, they're gonna laugh, and they'll laugh just at the idea of you being up there. Not necessarily the content of what you're doing, and
which is kind of bad.
No, it's really it doesn't help. And so my first 3 sets were in front of a bunch of friends, and then I convinced myself, I'm actually a voice of a generation.
Oh my god!
I actually have the gift where I don't need to put in any work. I'm good right away.
I am a voice. That is such a bar because like every generation has one, right? And so you're thinking, what are you, millennial?
Yeah, I was the millennial voice.
Yeah. Like the OG millennial. Nope. You're at the turn of the fucking.
No, it's not. It's not Andrew Schultz. It's not Rosebud Baker. It's me. It's me. There's still
Tyler Hinz is going to say all the things that you need to hear in this day and age.
That's right about circumcision.
That's hilarious, dude. Maybe you are still. Who knows? Maybe you're the voice of a generation in your 60s. Maybe that's when you come into play. When
I get really old.
Yeah. Maybe that's when your voice is needed in our societal culture.
That's right.
Yeah, just slurp it really loud.
That's some good coffee. Wait, don't you want to do stand up? Didn't you want to do stand up? Don't you want to start? Don't you want to
Absolutely.
do a set this Saturday?
Dude, I thought I was the voice of a generation.
Do a set this Saturday.
Should I?
Yes.
Oh my God. No, I can't. It's my girlfriend's birthday.
What
Oh my God, that's even better.
What a better present to her. What a better present.
Yo. Hey, babe, for your birthday, I'm going to do stand up for you.
None of the jokes will be about you.
Yeah, well, actually, most of them will be about roasting you.
Okay,
but it's my gift to you because I love you. Actually, that's an amazing gift when you really think about it. That'd be crazy.
Okay. It depends on, because sometimes
Depends
people
on,
roast.
yeah,
Sometimes
yeah.
people, and if they
it's-
don't have a lot of experience, then it's like, oh, that sounds like you meant it.
Yes.
It's
Dude,
like-
no, that's what I.
Yeah.
So, okay, so to answer your question, yes, I've wanted to do stand up for a while. I'm a huge fan of comedy. I
Yeah.
got into it like very deeply, probably when I was 25 too, maybe 24.
How old are you now?
30. I just turned 30 on May 30th.
Damn.
Yeah, bro.
We're like 10 years. I'm like your future.
Yeah, dude, you are my future, sitting right in front of me.
That's right. You're going to wear very tiny shorts in a little while.
Yeah, I know they're gonna keep getting smaller. Now that my shoes are off, I'm like, God, is this comfortable or not? This is gonna
hope it
look
is.
funny in the pod, but whatever. But what was I gonna say? I wanted to. I mean, that's why I started the comedy at 11th Hour, and it finding you was amazing because it actually put some legitimacy on it happening because I was not in the culture of comedy or I didn't know people in comedy. And I was just going to do kind of like a open mic comedy in town, which was like, I want to try it out. So I'm going to do an event for it. And that just I just didn't have the cajones. And a lot of the jokes, at the time were going to be about me running a business and my employees. And I was like, I don't think I have the balls to say these jokes because what if it just sounds like I mean it? And I would have cutthroat jokes like in my head. Like I would have to go cutthroat because of how funny it would be. But I don't know if that's wise as a business owner. So it was like, it's kind of like don't shit where you eat. I mean, I don't know. It's a little risky.
I could see that where it's like,
because I worry about perception already as a business owner in town does, like you want to have good relationships with people and good, perception of who you are. And so I'm like, this could butcher all of it. I could just have one bad set that is really bad. Like I say some shit that is unforgivable,
Yeah, I think
about the wrong person or something. I don't know.
Well, and I think just like as the owner, if you're like roasting some of the people that are working for you,
I know
that's going to be tough. And then also again,
well, but and at the time
yeah.
it was like there was like 10 of us and we were all the same age, so it didn't feel like that dynamic. That's why I was going there in my head. But now I would never, I wouldn't just roast people I barely know, but I knew everyone really well then.
You should actually show up Friday and then just be whoever was working the front counter this day. Just be like,
hey,
Rebecca, you're really slow and ugly. I got you.
I got you.
You're so slow.
Hey,
so
why don't you bust those tables a little faster, bitch?
Your job is in jeopardy. I mean it too. I do. I mean it. You're seriously.
If you can't take this joke, I'm gonna fire you.
Then you can't receive criticism.
Yeah, it means you're bad with feedback.
Yeah.
But either
that.
way, I also have plenty of content I can come up with that is not business related at all.
Yeah.
But I think that just in general, then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do personal jokes, personal commentary, fun, whatever. But then or societal. And then I'm like, oh no, what if I say things that make people think I have a view politically or otherwise that is super cancelable or something but I was just joking, I'm like, it's too risky.
It is. Well, what I'll say is,
and honestly, I don't know if I'm that type of funny.
That's
I'm funny with my friends. I'm funny behind the scenes. I'm a silly freaking goose. But I think in that kind of more eloquently delivered, cohesive joke, cutting through shit. I don't know. I haven't tried, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling maybe I'm not that person.
Well,
or I'm not inherently good at being that kind of funny.
I think what it is with stand-up is that it's a process in which you learn what about you is funny. Because your impressions of what you think is a joke, especially early on, what you think is a joke, what you think is funny about yourself, you slowly over time are like, hey, why does this joke work? Why does this joke work? Hey, this kind, and then eventually it's very revelatory where it's like I now understand a little bit better like what it is about
You
me.
almost understand yourself a little better.
But it's a process.
Yeah.
It's like a long. It's something where it's like you have to be willing to. It's this principle with everything. It's like it's got to be something you don't mind failing at, like
Yes.
being shitty at it.
Yeah.
And like comics that stick with it are hopefully they're thinking about like what can I do better. But a lot of it is just like, you eat shit and you're like, I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, and that's I think that's why. Like you said, I think it would be really good for me to go like over the hill or to the SF and try for the first time there because I think that as a person, as many people are as a people pleaser, I am worried about how I'm perceived and what people think about me, and so having an audience that no one knows me at least, that will be helpful for me to at least possibly do well.
You're a people pleaser?
Oh yeah.
That is every comedian. Every comedian just desperately. It's just a group of people who are just like desperately
You
getting
just
a
wanna
group
make
of
people
strangers
happy.
like, please, if you could just accept me. Like, I know we've never met. For the next 10 minutes, could you just give me a lot of the things that I didn't get as a child?
Absolutely.
That would be really helpful.
Yeah.
I would just suggest doing open mics down here because I guarantee, just don't tell anybody you're going.
Oh, that's a great idea.
You're not going to know anybody in the crowd because mostly it's unhoused people.
Right.
Like genuinely so. You're going to do shows in front of, you're entertaining a
Nice
bunch of
PC.
unhoused people. I know, I was very
Very PC.
You
Well
said you didn't
done.
want to get canceled.
Yeah,
I am here
you
for
got
that.
me, bro.
I'm here for that.
So I think that you're right. And yeah, I think I've always been a performer. I've always known I'm a performer, and I love getting on the mic. That's why I used to fucking do the freestyle raps or I would do almost like a mixture of like we have an open mic in my house, and I would always just get up and not plan anything, and I would either do some sort of musical improv thing or do improv or do bits or then try and do some comedy. So it'd be kind of like a more skit, like whatever.
Yeah.
But just anything to entertain. Like I definitely am that type of person for sure. And I think that's why I think if I were to give it a go, I could figure out what type of funny I am, what kind of joke, I could do, because there's so many different types, right? Like there's a lot of people that are just doing bits or props or impressions or, all the different types of comedy or maybe I'm a political comedian, who knows?
Yeah.
But I don't think so.
No, it's definitely, I think with everything, when you like try to get good at anything, I think you learn through that process, you learn so much about yourself, and stand up is the same, but stand up is this weird thing of learning. I don't know, just, it's been very helpful for me because it's like, I feel confident in myself in that I used to be like, I think when I first was doing stand up beforehand, I was constantly trying to be on funny wise, like constantly trying to prove it. But now it's just like, I don't need to prove it. Like, I know that I can do this, but then I also have a bit more secure sense of like, what are the joke risks I'm going to take in a moment? And if it doesn't work, I get used to just living with that silence. Like, cause I tried enough, but it's like, I know I'm going to take another shot and I know I could get it.
Yeah.
But no, I'm also the worst person to tell stuff to like this because I'm all about like fucking go for it.
Right.
Live
I know.
your
And you're
dream.
always so encouraging,
Yeah.
which I think that is why it's so cool that you and I linked up and that you run the comedy event here because there's such a shared value there of like, I just want the space to be this haven for people to go for it.
Yeah.
People to try out something new, to find themselves trying, and like there's different things for people to get involved and putting people on. And like, it's great that we put you on and you have a mentality of putting others on. And I just love it. Yeah.
Oh no, I've like one time I did let somebody do their first set at one of the shows.
Did you?
I would never do a show where it's like, because people are paying. Since people are paying, it's like
since people are paying now, it's
I want to get decent comics who will.
But when it was free,
no. But even then, I'll throw up like one because it's just like a fun. I've thrown up like one or two people who are brand-ish new, and like they did not do well, and it's fine. But it's like 5 minutes. We can suffer through 5 minutes of somebody trying to figure it out.
As an audience member, I will suffer through 5 minutes of anyone, and you can give me multiple back to back. But if it's the same person for 15 minutes who's
just
fucking bombing, it is painful. And I think that as an audience member, that's why so many people don't want to go to live comedy.
Yeah.
Is because of they take on the emotion of the person bombing and it hurts them.
Well, I think this goes back to the just somebody who's experienced knows how to take over.
They know how to take over and say, "Hey, I got you, baby."
Yeah, just like again, it's like if you go to the Punchline on Sunday in San Francisco and you watch that showcase, it'll be a couple comics, and eventually you'll get to one who's passed, and it'll just be this moment of like, oh, we're okay, because I know a lot of friends who didn't want to see me when I first started, or even for a while, because they're like, I can't handle the stress of you not doing well and me feeling that with you.
Yeah.
But now it's like, hey, just come to the show. Even when I'm doing shitty and having a bad set, it's still kind of fun because I know how to still own it a little bit better.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that it's kind of like I used to be a skier, and that was my thing for a while. I lived in Tahoe, and I started doing flips, and I wanted to do a double. And in my journey, I learned that I can get more and more complicated and riskier in the air as long as I know how to fall right. So if you know how to fall right, then you can push it and it's fine because you know how to tumble.
Yeah. That's a good analogy. It's definitely,
and you know what risks not to take. It's icy in the morning. Don't do that. You know, okay, you're stalled in the air. Like you're going to want to make sure don't tense up, fall on your shoulder, which kind of like is a similar thing of like, oh, I know I'm bombing.
Yeah.
I know what to do so that people don't literally quake in their boots.
Well, I'd say it's like twofold, where it's like every comic knows no matter what level, I heard Kevin Hart talk about this one time too, where it's just like every comic knows you're going to have a bad set. It just happens. Like sometimes it's unavoidable. It's off. You can blame the crowd, the environment, it's going to happen. But like if you're a little bit more established, you can carry yourself through it. You can get, the first thing is, you can get through it. When you first start and you're having bad sets and things aren't going well, and it's just, there's this moment of, oh, I might literally shit my pants right now.
Yeah,
and
I might die.
I am so nervous and scared. And then time just goes on. But now there's like, for me, there's this acceptance of like, oh, this isn't going well. I'm, 8 minutes into my act, this is just what tonight is.
This is what tonight is.
This is it. I will do my best.
Nobody is uncomfortable, but nobody's laughing.
No one likes me right now. But
no one's into you, but nobody hates you, and nobody is physically, emotionally affected.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like, I hope he's done soon.
Yeah, and I've been talking about failing a lot. I should also say, like, I fucking kill. Like, I am so good at comedy. I am
I've seen you kill.
I am like such a talent. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no. I think it's important though. I think that when you do fail,
egotistical.
Yeah, but that was on purpose.
I
think we all knew that was on purpose.
I
think that when you have been in comedy as long as you have, and you have bombed as many times as you have,
predominantly,
that's always a premise of your experience. But there's also all the times that you're in it still because of all the times that you have killed.
Oh yeah.
And that it has gone well, and you're in that Zen mode, like that sweet spot, right? That's probably I always think about how incredible it must be to be in that sweet spot where whether you're killing, that like you know where you're at, where you're going, like the jokes are landing, and you're just probably blissful. Like, oh, this is so fun.
There's nothing in the world that feels as good as killing. Like it's a different, and granted, I think you have to be of a certain disposition where again, it's like, I need a room full of strangers to loudly validate me, like out of reflex, not even just,
but also it's kind of like, it's that you're getting joy from them getting joy. You're like, it's not that just the validation of who you are that you're funny, right? It's also that, oh my God, I'm so happy that I'm making people happy right now.
Yeah. And
there's the flip coin of like, it's not all ego, I don't think, or like validation or whatever.
It's I think that's a valid. And when I talk about comedy, I always say I apologize because I'm not very funny about talking about it, but like, the philosophy about,
I think you're funny when you're talking. Whenever I talk with you.
Yeah. But there's an author I love named Italo Calvino, and he's an Italian guy, and he wrote an essay on lightness, on being light versus
Yeah.
people who are heavy.
Yes.
And so I always saw, and he kind of sees that. He changed his writing style because it was more realistic, and he saw a bunch of shit in a war, and that's what his early novels were kind of reflective of. And then he he wrote these ridiculous stories because he saw himself as somebody bringing lightness to the world. And that's kind of what I see. It's like, I don't know if people believe in having some sort of purpose, and it doesn't mean that I have to be like a killer comedian. It could be as simple as, me
Making
having
your family happy.
Yeah, or me having a fun exchange with the barista where I feel like in the moment, like, hey, we're like taking down the masks of like this civilized moment.
And then that is something
playing.
that you have within yourself to contribute towards the world, you know, and people. And I mean, I aligned with that completely. That's literally why I wanted to start 11th Hour. Was like, I think everyone went to college. I knew I wasn't going to go to college. And kind of like I was planning to, and I was at Cabrillo for like a year, and I kind of realized it was like, I found out a lot about myself that year. I was like, I know what I'm good with people, and I love hanging out with my friends. I love just those positive interactions. I know that has a positive impact on me and others. It's simple, and it's a simple thing I'm good at, that maybe I can just do that, and just open a coffee shop where I get to have these exchanges and then create an environment that is light and positive, you know?
Wait, you didn't go to college?
No.
I had no idea how much smarter I was than you.
Dude, you're a law. You went to law school. You graduated from law school.
I went to college 3 times. No, no, I agree. That's awesome though. No, you know what? Maybe what you're talking to is this idea of because you like people, you like connecting with people, but creating a community space where people want to come in and be part of stuff, to be engaged.
Well, it's a hard thing to make a career out of. Like if you know that about yourself, I think that most options are performing. Most are entertainment based, or event based, like shows or music or all those things. And I think that as a business model, taking that piece of that what we're talking about is hard to turn into a business. Business model anyway.
I read this great book called The Extinction of Experience. Highly recommend. It's about like technology's mediation of our experience and what it's doing, but it does talk about like spaces and how like important it is to have places in which people are there, maybe people are present, and people want to create an energy. And so like, to commend you on what you're trying to do with that. And this is also the reason why I think live comedy is obviously
it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It is the same thing though. It's
biased.
People there are in person. And I always tell people like during orientation, if you're working here, like if you don't want to be here, then neither will the people walking in. But if you are present and you have an energy and I want to be here, then you're inviting other people to come into the space and forget about whatever the hell they were thinking about the past, the future, whatever, and to also be present and just be in the space with you. Not, I can't wait how much longer till they get off. Okay, whatever, Yeah,
totally.
But if you're present, people can feel that, and it's inviting others to come into and also be in that space,
Completely. Yeah, and it changes.
It's kind of like a control thing. Like the baristas have the power to control the room, and I think that is something that a lot of people might not realize. That you can have that much of an impact when people are coming in,
Well, and it's just the importance of like human connection. In that like we are still not at a place where we can just forego in-person interactions. And
it's never going to happen. If anything, it is only going to be more sought out after, now that we have such utility in the digital world of communication, that all that's covered. So now it's like, people want leather and wood and, real things that are going to go up in price, like a hotter commodity, event spaces, event venues, coffee shops, bars, like all those. I think that we'll get more and more creative and better. Like that industry, I think will get better and better.
Hopefully,
because of the need for it. I think, and people realizing through technology for so long that they want it again.
Well, it's just that technology and interactions through it are a lot less fulfilling than the tech companies and the zeitgeist kind of led you to believe.
Yeah.
Like this thing, I mean,
and that's the thing. It's taken so long, and we're
Right.
just starting
Yeah.
to more and more find out how much we don't that this is not the answer to
Yeah.
everything. Like the overuse of Instagram and Twitter and TikTok, and people are like, I need to get off my phone more than ever.
Well, it's so I just got back from Greenland and Copenhagen. I'm a world traveler. I'm very well traveled. I'm very well traveled. But and I'm doing the classic comparing Europe to the U.S. But
Dude. Joel was a traveler and a European traveler, and his wife's from Spain, Laura. And when early on in his travels, I swear he was like, comparing Europe to us all the time.
Which is also, I don't think it's fair to think everything that Europeans do is better than, like, my sister will do that. She'll be like, Europeans are making fun of our toilet paper. I'm like, who gives a fuck?
Dude.
I love Charmin.
They even smoke cigarettes better than us. Like, it's grossing in America, but in Europe, it's amazing to smoke cigarettes.
It's great. Lung cancer there is the thing.
Yeah. No, they don't even get it because they smoke them so good.
No, but there's whenever you go somewhere, you do see things that they're doing that you wish existed here. And
Ooh, I'm gonna try this out.
oh yeah,
Look at that upside down.
That's more like
Cha-chow.
psychologist sort of vibe.
It is
than
a little bit
like cool podcast host. Actually, I would go lower.
Lower. Lower and then up. Bam, baby.
No, but the thing about the thing that I was noticing about Europe is just that. So where I live in San Jose, I like to go for a lot of walks with my dogs.
Duh.
And I just got back. Everybody's out. At least in Copenhagen, everybody's out. There's always people. Granted, it's a bigger city, but people are out. People are always walking. People are doing these things. But there's just an energy and a livelihood to this. Like, there's literally something about spaces being filled with actual life that is so invigorating. And then now I'm walking around, and it's summer vacation, and I don't see people very often also doing it where I live, and it just. There is an actual emptiness to that feeling. Like, the fact that the streets are actually empty almost feels reverberated in my personhood. So again,
I was living downtown when COVID hit, and it was like, tumbleweeds downtown. It was so depressing.
Yeah, it really is.
Places that are supposed to be lively, not being empty is just terrible.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like even just grabbing, and I'm not just doing this to just be like a fucking what is it, advertisement for 11th hour, but like even going there right before this and grabbing coffee, and there's a lot of people there. People are talking. There's 3 or 4 baristas talking, all having a good time, probably all talking about how much they like me. Like,
oh, absolutely. I heard them gossiping after I left. They were like, who's that Tyler guy? Is this Tyler?
He was so funny when he said,
funny,
just
dude.
give me regular milk.
Yeah.
What
I told him, dude, no problem. That's what she said. But no, there is something like, and I think that I hope that the podcast also contributes towards, like, when you're on and then you do go get a coffee in there, like, I think it's cool and impactful, and not in an ego way, to be known somewhere. I found that for myself when I first started working in coffee at Verve. And I knew my friends at work, right? And then I knew people that worked at different locations or outside of the Verve at different coffee shops. And just being known when I came in, it wasn't like, oh, I'm the shit, people know me, but it was this welcoming, this is my home, of kind of like, I am known here. Yeah. And I think that I think people benefit greatly, especially I've seen in Santa Cruz when, like, you want to go in when you're walking through 11th hour and the people in there, they know who you are. Yeah. They don't know every detail about you, but you are one of the community here.
Oh, damn.
You know what I mean?
I heard a principal in sales. This guy, he was talking about what makes an effective salesman, and it's relationship creating. And he says, you want to be such an effective salesman that when that person thinks, oh, I'm not going to buy, or I'm no longer going to get our IT needs from that guy or that corporation. Yeah. That somebody there is going to miss me. Like, if I'm working for Xerox and I'm your connection and I'm the one selling you stuff, and you decide I don't want to use Xerox, you think somebody there is going to miss me, though. Yes. That one person.
Our paper guy. Exactly. We have certain vendors that have like stopped working there or something, and people are super bummed. Like, dude, like, he's not coming around anymore. Like, or we have people currently that's like, they're so well known. Oh, dude, what's up? Yes. Like, it would be a bummer if we didn't use them still.
Which is like one of the reasons why, like, I know people in sales get a bad rap, as they should, but it's like they tend to be prettier and charming because you like getting attention from that
well,
person.
A good salesman, you don't think of as a salesman.
No, you're just like, oh, it's Rick.
It's Rick.
It's Rick.
I know. We do wholesale for our coffee, and
Uh-huh.
so we work with different coffee shops, people serving our coffee.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the feeling that I want to create in that program. It's like when they call and they need an order or something got messed up. Like it's like, hey, yo, what's up? Like they're excited to call. Like they're not like, oh, I got to deal with this. You know.
I got to deal with 11th hour. AI.
Yeah, I got to deal with the 11th hour again. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to go back to, I was going to say something earlier when we were talking about like types of comedy.
Yeah.
And figuring out what type of comedy you are. And I've thought about it a lot. And one of my favorite comedians that I feel like if I was to do a strain of comedy, it would be random comedy. And my biggest inspiration is Reggie Watts.
Oh, Reggie Watts is great. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You know, like he is doing music, improv, mixed with jokes, mixed with absolute debauchery randomness that all of a sudden the joke ends and for some reason it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's almost like funny because it's almost like there is no audience. Like it's like he has no idea what he's even doing.
I think it's just a good reminder that that comedy it's in part, it's who's ever creating it. And then you want to be influenced by the comedy that came before. Absolutely. You should. I'm always of the opinion that with any art, you should understand what came before, what the mechanics and the technicality
because
of it.
It's like there is voices to a generation that have already been done and there's just no need to redo that.
Well, and I'd also just say in terms of how to craft a joke, like how do they do it and like and I think you need to know that stuff. And then once
that's
you know,
why comedy gets better and better is because people like the zeitgeist of everyone learning from everyone else.
Well, but once you know that stuff, then you can break it. And then you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Right.
But Reggie Watts is just a good example of he's just doing what he thinks is interesting and funny.
Yes.
And that sometimes you just have to try to do that yourself and then see if it resonates with other people.
Right.
Because I've seen plenty of comics or people who are like performers who are like, I'm just going to do what I think is interesting. But it's not like it's like that thing where it's like the niche artists where it's like they're fucking like, oh, what kind of art are you making? It's like, oh, I'm shitting on pieces of wood, and it's like it's not for everybody, but you're doing what you love. But then you get somebody like Reggie Watts where it's like weird and it's like, oh,
it's
I could
weird.
watch this.
It's so true to him. He clearly did not get feedback around what he's going to do, nor did he overthink what he was going to do. It is like, this is what I'm in. He's interesting enough and he's talented enough, I think, musically and artistically that he can do that. Like this is what I'm been fucking around with lately, you know?
He figured it out, but like.
He figured it out. But I think that his style of comedy is one of the most complicated. At least like kind of like unique, original, you know?
Totally.
For me anyway, when I watched, I was blown away. I was like, what did I just watch? Like, was that a comedy special? I'm not sure.
It's do
you know what I mean? Have you seen his specials?
I've seen some of them, and I've heard him on other podcasts and things talk, and he's incredibly interesting, and he's very talented. He does what he wants.
In a way,
I always love
it's
that.
kind of like it's kind of like Bo Burnham in a way. Bo Burnham is the kind of OG strain of this music mixed with comedy, mixed with performance art.
Yeah.
And I feel like Bo Burnham's like an existential version, but Reggie Watts is just like this random creative version, just pumping out creative shit for random sake.
I will say that when people first start out and they try to do things like them, it usually fails pretty hard.
Oh yeah, very hard.
Every comic fails early on when they're first starting, but I think that's even harder. What I think about is, okay, I'm always big about examples. Have you seen fucking The French Dispatch by Wes Anderson?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I have seen The French Dispatch.
I am such a hip loser for Wes Anderson films. And
you got a new one coming out, bro.
I know. I want to see that. But but there's this one part of the movie where it's Benicio del Toro and Adrian Brody. And so Benicio del Toro is this crazy artist who lives in prison and, was making these beautiful like paintings with shit and all this other stuff. And Adrian Brody wants to be an art sort of producer, but he doesn't know anything about art. And so he gets all these, abstract paintings from Benicio del Toro's character, and he's showing to the other people. He's like, we got to invest in this. And they're like, we don't know if this is good. And then he pulls out a picture of a sparrow, and it's a pretty good picture of a sparrow. And it's like, okay, the artist drew this in a minute 30. So in a minute 30, he could draw something like this. So he's that talented, but he thinks that's good. Therefore, that must be good.
Oh my! I remember that
Yes.
scene. I remember that scene. That you just made me recall what that movie actually is, and it's a masterpiece.
Oh, it's so great.
It's a masterpiece. Doesn't they end up like stealing the art at one point?
Oh, it's something. Well, no, he paints it onto these like underground slabs of concrete that nobody can ever remove, and these people commission the pieces for millions of dollars. That's like,
oh my god, yeah.
We're ruining the movie. But no, it's like
okay.
I think about that with avant-garde comedy, where it's like I don't think you can do avant-garde comedy until you show you can do a regular set, and then you fucking deviate.
I fully agree.
Yeah.
And I think that like the Bo Burnham types, they weren't doing comedy.
Oh,
right. That was like not comedy that turned up into comedy. It was like performance art and music that ended up in the comedy world almost. We'll put that in there,
I think if you watch his early YouTube with Bo Burnham, though,
yes,
he had some really funny, like it was YouTube specific humor, but it was good jokes.
It was
and
good
they were
jokes.
fun.
Yeah.
And then like I think he could play around with that medium until eventually get something like Inside, which is funny, but it's also just art. It's also
art, and that's the thing.
Like
it is up
art.
for interpretation, and that's why it's art. Real standard stand-up comedy usually isn't up for interpretation. It is up for how you think it's funny, but there is a very direct point being made, or a direct thing being said.
See, I would disagree, and then I think
really
good. Well, because I think art is like I feel like it's this thing that we tie into within ourselves that has to come out. And some people, I think what has to come out is some form of stand-up comedy. I judge it on because I think what makes art interesting is how it differs from other art. And so like, I would give some.
You're right.
Yeah. But I mean.
No, you're right. And I actually fully stand. That would be my definition is art is whatever a human being needs to express.
Like it has
in
to come
any
out.
medium. In any medium, and it has to come out, whether it's a painting, whether it's a joke, a song, whatever. But you are correct. I think I was thinking about like a high level art, like a high level film that's just like is meant to allow you to think for yourself. Like you would look at a painting and it's how you interpret the painting.
Totally.
So I'm thinking like the best kind of art, almost the most intriguing kind of art can be up for interpretation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I absolutely.
As a consumer.
Yeah. And I think there's definitely some stand-ups stand-up specials that when you watch them are like that, where you're watching it and you're I feel like there's something bigger going on here besides just what's going on. But I also do think sometimes art simplistically is it's thinking with your neck down. Like I think that we outsource so much thought as only like, only if it's rational in this thing, that we forget that sometimes our body is tuning into this deeper experience.
Yes.
And that's why I think like comedy and like that involuntary response to a good joke is really just your body being like, hey, let me take this.
I'm going to resonate with this regardless of what you think about it.
Oh, because you feel like a good joke or like a really funny moment in your life. You feel it in your whole being.
It doesn't matter if you're left wing or right wing.
No.
If there is a joke that is about something you don't agree with, and it's a good joke, your body is going to laugh.
Totally.
And that's why it's such an incredible medium and probably so popular today. Is because it has the ability to cut through that line, of whatever you might think is irrelevant. This is funny.
I know. I always apologize when I talk to people about stand-up because they think like, we're going to have this hilarious conversation. It's like, no, I'm an artist and I'm misunderstood in my
misunderstood artist and I'm a misunderstood voice of my generation.
And it's like, no, I like think really deeply about this stuff and like why.
Absolutely. You have to. I think that you have to have a deep connection to anything you're doing that's art,
Well, and actually with stand-up, I'll talk a little shit about others. Like sometimes people get into it, I think for the wrong with anything. Like
dude.
I just want
don't blame the leader, blame the followers.
Yeah, where it's but it's like I love it when people get into stand up because they love stand up or they love expression. And I think it, like, yes, some of them are really trying to make it and be, you know, really prominent in some sense. But there are people who I've met who I don't think love the medium. And then to me, when I see their comedy, I'm just like, it doesn't resonate.
It doesn't resonate
because I don't
You're
think
gonna
they love
feel it. Yeah. I mean, all the you know, all of my favorite comedians.
Yeah.
I have listened to them on a podcast, and they all have a deep connection to it on a spiritual human level, you know.
I mean, it's
a love and a passion for it in a way that they're protective about, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's also just like wherever you come to from comedy, like it's something that you feel like deeply within yourself drawn to. And that's like when people say, how do you get into comedy? It's like, oh, my whole life I've been drawn to things that were silly and weird and unexpected and light. I just wanted moments. Like whenever I was talking to somebody as a kid, I could tell right away if I'd want to keep talking with them because I'd feel at ease because we were both joking around. That's how I'd feel safe.
Yes.
Like, oh, you're not taking this serious? Great. Let's not take this serious together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is how I resonated with people as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like I felt the most comfortable when people wouldn't take the class serious that we were in.
Or just
you
any,
know,
yeah.
And not that they didn't take them. You want to it's like they didn't take themselves so seriously that you couldn't joke around or I feel like it shows a lot of confidence in an individual and security if you can do that, you know.
Oh, completely.
Like they know themselves, you know.
Yeah.
There's nothing that you could say that's going to be like, whoa, you know, like, no, I know who I am. You could joke about it. I know the truth, you know.
It's totally, it's like you can't, I don't think you can be people say self-deprecating, but it's more realizing like being humble that, you know, like there are parts of you that aren't perfect.
If you 8 Mile yourself,
it's
that thing, right?
Yeah. It's, but yeah, no, there's just always been like, I think, and the other thing is I liked spending time with comics because it was like, I'm spending my days in law school or when I was a lawyer, just with these really boring kind of people where if they had like more of a soul, they like slowly lost it. And I don't mean that in like so derisive of a way, but you just
also people are built different, so it's like that their soul is resonant with serious and slow and quiet and calm, and they just have an inner calmness to them maybe or an inner seriousness. That's just their soul.
See, you're much more kind about it. I just thought they were all fucking pricks.
Oh, I mean, totally.
Well,
I would too if I was in it. But you know, if you put yourself in the right place, then you can from afar know that that's the case. That's not your group. That's not your group.
They were just not my people. And I also do think sometimes if people go a very traditional course, they're doing so out of it's security at the expense of, I'll use the at the expense of their soul, like what they're really tied into. Because I definitely think that there are some people in law school is like, this is for you. You were meant for this. And then there are other people where I'm just like, you just want, you know,
status,
which is exactly why I went into it. I couldn't think of anything to do when I told people I was going to law school, and they're like,
it felt good.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you're going to law school?
Oh my god, dude! To say I'm impressed as hell. You know.
Well, I remember that feeling because I never had that because I was always kind of a C student, and then I'd say that to people, and there would just be this moment where they kind of indirectly, and I just felt like they're like, oh my god, you're just like so smart and capable. I'm like, yeah, actually, I am.
And then you feel like super unseen at the end of the day. You're like, that's not really who I am.
But yeah, no, it was just, I just saw a lot of people where I just felt like to get that secure life, we're kind of pushing aside things that they're really drawn to. Not all of them, but there were definitely a
lot of suppression was involved in it.
But man, spending time with, but it's, you know, who you spend time with matters, and spending time with people that were just, I felt as though didn't have the liveliness that I wanted to have. It was like, I can't do it. And so I had to take a step away from it.
Who you put yourself around has a massive impact on what you're going to do with your life, where you're going to go in life, how you're going to feel about life. Like, you know, I was listening to this, like the most important decision in your life is who you marry. Yeah. Because it will dictate how you feel about life more than anything. You know, because who you put yourself around all the time is going to dictate a lot.
And I think because we both went through really great breakups.
Boom. Back in the day.
Back in the day. But yeah, I think I might have even said this with you at one point where it was the thing that I learned from it is when you're with somebody like in that relationship, it's not what they're like, but it's what you're like with them.
Totally.
And if you don't resonate with that person, then it doesn't make sense to continue it. And
absolutely. And there can be this like thing that is uncontrollable about a dynamic where you both bring out the worst in each other, but you actually both like each other. Yeah. But there's something about it that brings out the part in them and the part in you that is not your best self. Yeah. And it is what it is. Yeah. And it's hard to recognize when it's happening sometimes. But I think when you get enough experience, then you can start to understand how you change around particular people and in what ways you do, Yeah.
Well, but like who we work with is a microcosm of that, to your point where, and I heard like when people talk about workplace culture, it's not really, the whole culture. It's all the people you have to spend time with within that workplace. And if you don't enjoy those dynamics,
dude,
you're out.
That's why, like, oh my God, like throughout the years of 11th Hour, like the biggest, it only takes one to poison the water, like when we were like 10 people, it's like, and we all wanted to be around, you're tight quarters in a cafe, you're, shoulder to shoulder, you're having to collaborate all day long, like personalities clash all the time. And when everyone is synergizing, it is just like palpably positive. Yeah. And sometimes it only takes one or two people that it's really not the place for them. And it completely derails the entire energy of the crew and the cafe. And it's such a hard thing to identify and give feedback to and alter when usually it's not something that people can change or should change about themselves. It's just not the place for them. Yeah. And it is such a funny thing to hold a boundary like that in a company. Be like, sorry, you're not the right vibe. Yeah. It's like, well, I'm doing my job. Yeah. And it's like, yes, but you're making other people not want to do theirs.
That's fun to fire people over that. It's like, but I'm doing everything you asked. Yeah, but you're not fun enough. And not cool enough. Yeah. But I don't like the way you dress.
Yeah, but you're not making your coworkers laugh enough.
You don't know any good internet jokes.
Yeah. So your music taste is not quite on par.
It's like I've been playing Dave Matthews
because
Band
we're creating a party here every day. Yeah. The music's got to be good. The drinks have got to be good. The welcoming energy when it is a party. I think about it like that, and we're inviting people to our party every day, and that's why it's like, okay, well, who's hosting the party? Yeah, makes or breaks it.
Couple questions about that. Okay, now it's my podcast.
Now it's your podcast.
All right, number one. Wait, how much time do we have?
As much as we want.
Okay. I got to check my meter.
Yeah, no, we'll wrap up in soon.
Okay. And then two, how do you, I guess, when interviewing people, assess whether or not you think they would be a good connection? Yeah. So that would be my first part of the question. And the second part of my question is, do you ever worry that sometimes because of, we like to be around people that are like us, not just you, but like all of us, so you have a certain sort of person that maybe you would be missing out on somebody who might be dissimilar in some way, but you are not as equipped to see where they'd bring value?
Absolutely. Great question. It's so funny. Super unbeknownst to us, there's an ongoing joke that basically, like, at one point there were 7 Geminis working here.
Are you guys big into astrology?
No.
Okay, good.
And we didn't know. But then over time we were like, wait, when's your birthday? And like a ton of people were, and it was a freaking hilarious joke. But when we go to hire, we've learned so much along the way. And I think that I have tried out. So I have played and had those conversations of like, oh, this person's different, but they have these qualities, and that's why I think they're going to be good, and yada yada. And sometimes that's true. It's definitely not like everyone has to be like me. You know, that would be terrible. You need all the different balances of like, some people are more practical. Some people are this type of funny. Some people have this kind of customer service. But there overall is a theme of lightness that tends to work. A person that is has a lightness to them and has a welcoming energy to them. Somebody who genuinely values people is one of the number one criterias, I think, that is going to make not just us happy they're working here and they're the right fit, but for them, that this is the right environment for them.
How do you assess that? Just through interview process?
Interview process is usually the very practical questions, which you want to know when you're going to hire somebody. What's your past work experience? What was it like working your last job? Like all that, you can tell. Like you can ask all. I could ask all those questions.
Yeah.
And just by their answers, I can have now, after 7 years doing it, have a very good idea if they're a good fit.
Yeah.
One of the like main things is how much did they complain about their last employer?
Oh, that's
what was the
yeah.
reason that they left? And I say that in terms of one of the biggest things that is a yellow flag of like, that's not the vibe here, is somebody who you can pick up on, like, basically it's somebody who has a victim mentality around life. Things are always happening to them. That's the number one thing of like, if they have answers that you can tell pretty quickly if they are like that, then it's like, nope. And I'm not really going to hire them just because they're upbeat and high energy, or they seem like that kind of typical people person or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's not necessarily either like the criteria. And so I feel like it is a hard target to tell you, like, you know, exactly why we would feel like they're a good fit or not.
Yeah.
But it's a myriad of things. All that I feel like, if I was to whittle it down, if they are a people person who gets energy from interacting with people, they usually will work out here. And those people tend to be able to take feedback pretty well, or have a back and forth collaborative mentality.
Well, kind of like
what was the second part of that question?
No, I think you kind of got them both. Actually.
Yeah, okay.
But it was, I think the one thing that you're alluding to with that kind of yellow flag thing, which is if somebody, it's a similar thing to like if you're dating somebody and all they do is talk shit about their former relationship. It's like,
absolutely,
that's not necessarily great, because to what extent are you holding yourself accountable for what happened? Because like, I mentioned that we went through breakups, and as much as I'd like to say it was all the other person's fault, like I was also there. I have a history of bad relationships, therefore I'm part of that history.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, I think that if it's a romantic, if you're making that metaphor, and there's one person in the relationship who is taking accountability, but also blaming the other person, and then one person's just blaming the other person, clearly there's a thread of where the imbalance is, right? Because both people, no matter what dynamic it is, whether it's romance or employer, there is both people contributing towards why it's not working. And that's why I always like to say, like, it's not that you're not working out, it's that we're not working out for you as well. And so I think that's very important for me to know when we ever have to let people go or give them harsh feedback. It really is like, hey man, I don't want you to force this. Like, I don't want to have to change for you, because that's not what this entity is going to do. We know who we are, you know, and like we've established that here, and we're open to feedback about alternatives, but for the most part, you know, we know what we're going for. And it seems like you don't want this. And I think that when people realize that, it's a lot easier to understand, you know, where it's like, I don't need you to overhaul your whole personality or who you are or your work ethic or anything. Like, I think that a different environment would work better. You know, and that's the same thing for like, romantic relationships too. It's like, let's look at the facts, and it looks like it hasn't been working. You know, regardless of whether it's my fault or your fault, we can acknowledge that. Right.
But that is hard.
It is. No, it's very difficult, especially with interpersonal. It's like, it's so hard to know whether it was. I think when you get out of something throughout one's life, I think like everyone has at least one or two relationships where they have no idea if they were the monster or how much, you know, or the problem, you know, and to figure that out is very difficult.
It's always fun to pretend.
Wait 1 sec. Hey, Luke. Yeah, I'm literally answering the call on the podcast still. We're going a little late. I can call you in about 15 minutes ish or less.
Yeah. No worries, man. Yeah. Am I on the podcast?
You're on right now, dude.
Hey, Luke.
Oh, God. Hey, Mom.
Say hey, Tyler.
Yeah, I'm not your mom. This is weird.
Hey, man, I'm not your mom.
That'd be weird if his mom was on this podcast right now.
You know, we live in a day and age where, like, if you say your my mom, then maybe you can be my mom.
Maybe you can be your mom. We're keeping this part in.
I mean, to be fair, I don't know anything about Luke, but I'd like to be his mother.
Pull back now.
All right, I'll call you back. Bye.
No, I think with relationships.
That was hilarious.
I don't know who Luke is. Who's Luke?
Luke is
Supplier?
my drug dealer. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Luke is a good friend of mine who I met through Joel and Lauda because they both have kids. He just had a second kid. We're doing the First Friday event at the roastery called Audio Alchemy. And so we both,
cool.
I started DJing and he DJs, and he bought this whole sound system, and we collaborated because he really wanted a spot to set up the sound system and play music. And so it's a free show, amazing music, DJs.
Nice.
I'm gonna DJ, he's DJing, friends of mine, his friends. He's in his 40s or something, has 2 kids, and just used to love music. And so he's like getting back into it and doing an event at the roastery. And we've had 2 of them so far. And they've just been getting cooler and cooler.
When's the next event?
Dude, this Friday.
Tomorrow? Yeah, you got to get
tomorrow.
this podcast out.
Dude, I need to get it out fast. Yeah. This Friday starts at 5 p.m. 28 vendors, food, drinks. We're doing it with collaboration with Santa Cruz Clay. So it's like whole parking lot and dance party till 11.
Sweet.
You should come by. It's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun.
I might.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I have to coach volleyball that night. But if not, I'll totally come
You're
by.
a volleyball boy. I forgot. What were you saying?
Oh, relationships.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, or
It's
something
just,
on
it'd
that.
be great if I weren't also partially responsible for the demises of some of them, but I absolutely was.
I know. The older I get, the more I, have gone to therapy and figured out why.
Oh, I just read a book that helped me.
Yeah. Or read a book.
Yeah, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I learned about it, a lot about myself.
I learned about the invisibility cloak, and that was when I realized I've been hiding my whole life.
Yeah. It's yeah. No, fuck relationships.
Fuck relationships.
Except
You're
for
single right
you're
now,
in a
right?
good one, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Very, very lucky to be. Yeah.
No, I've been dating, and I've been dating somebody, but like before that, it's been like since my breakup with my more prominent one that we've talked about, who's a great person. We just were not a good, as you said, we were not great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Huge fan. Absolutely love her.
Yeah, but it was I've been dating somebody now, it's been better, but man, it's like getting back it's the reason why I didn't want to break up, because it's like I don't want to date again. I don't remember that being
terrible.
fun. It's not fun. And
and you have to restart the whole process of learning everything, I guess, about yourself, and like, okay, wait, what does work for me? Wait, what am I looking for?
Well, and then it's like, it's hard. I mean, maybe not, like, maybe I should come to 11th hour more and try to flirt with people there. But like, it's hard.
Just not my staff. Leave them alone, dude. Just kidding.
Stupid. What's the point of you hiring
They served me the latte.
They served me the latte. They're totally into me.
I love the culture around, like, everyone falls in love with their barista. It's so funny.
It's totally true. Every time I order and it's from anybody, and if they're remotely cute, it's like I'm envisioning what our kids would look like.
Yeah.
At some point, I have to stop, because since I am 40, I'm hitting creepy old man territory. Where if I'm still 52 and it's like we would have delightful kids, it's like I'm 23.
Yeah.
Get the fuck away from me.
Totally. But yeah, dating is it's difficult, man.
I do think it's like it's so much nicer if you meet people in the real world, like through communities or work or something, because it's like you see how they are holistically, and you see if you're attracted to them. Whereas me doing a lot of dating,
well, because when you see them in person, it's not that you're just physically attracted to them. You can pick up on if you are energetically attracted to them.
Totally. And
immediately when you meet them, it's not romantic. There's not a premise of romance that makes it like, are we a match or not? It's like there's a fluidity and at easeness when you meet them, where you're yourself and they're themselves. Not when you go on a Hinge date and you are completely like, this has to be romantic, otherwise it's awkward. Let's find out as fast as possible.
So, well, and you also don't know, just from like texting each other, to your thing, the energy thing, if the way you interact is a way that either person would vibe with. Because I'd go on these things where it'd be like, oh, this girl's hot on this thing, I'm excited to go out, and then we'd spend time together, and it's like we both hate each other.
Absolutely.
And we agreed to dinner, and we just
then you're
ordered.
stuck at dinner.
Yes.
And I have gone on only a handful of internet dates or app dates, and the first two, I was like, why did I do this? I am stuck here all night and I'm a people person,
Yeah.
a people pleaser. And so I'm like, I can't just leave because then it's like so mean. Like, oh, I immediately realized this doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like it's hard.
And you want to like give people an opportunity to be the slow burn.
You don't want to read a book by its
Yeah.
cover. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, maybe they
maybe
are
in third-
funnier than this. I don't know. Yeah.
But there is a point. I did go out with this one girl, and I think we both did not hit it off right away, but we were persisting.
Oh,
And
nice.
45 minutes into just like awkward, combative conversation.
Oh my God. That's not what I meant.
No, yeah. We were just not vibing. And then like we had nothing, we couldn't, and I could see her kind of look down, try to think of like, is there anything I could do to create a moment of connection between us? And then she looks up and she's like, oh my God, what TV shows are you watching right now? And it's like, oh, I don't really watch TV. And I saw her go back down in defeat.
God.
And I'm like, I just should have fucking said Breaking Bad and pretended I knew anything. It's
That
like,
is
it was like,
effed. Wait. You don't watch TV?
at the time I wasn't watching.
You're a douche.
I know. And she's like, what
You're
do you
a
do?
douche.
And I was like, no, I don't do it.
I
I'm-
always am up to date on all media that
yeah.
way, no matter what, no matter who I'm talking to, we can always fall back on media.
See, that's a good idea. Instead, I just want people to know that I'm better than them. And it's like, what kind
Yeah,
of TV?
you-
It's like, I don't have time with
I
that.
don't
I'm
actually
writing a
watch
novel.
TV because I'm a mature adult.
Yeah. It's like, I
Yeah.
have a good mental
I don't
balance.
listen
you
to
piece of
music.
shit. Oh, yeah, that's her. That was great. Yeah.
Uh,
Shout out to Danielle.
Yeah, baby.
Think she's got kids.
Oh, good for her.
Everybody.
her.
Everybody. It's weird. You're mentioning a friend in the 40s got 2 kids. It's like, oh, I just hit 40. All my friends have kids. And I am still
yeah.
pulling out. So I
Yeah.
gotta fix that.
Yeah, you got to pull in at some point. Show up.
I gotta leave it in. At some point, I gotta leave that in there. All right.
That's called adulthood.
That is adulthood. When-
Yeah.
When you're like, hey,
Oh, yeah, all my friends are just starting to have kids.
Yeah, you just hit 30. Yeah.
I would say baby fever is not upon my life yet, but
that's
my
good.
brother just had a kid a couple years ago. I think being an uncle is the perfect test run of like, okay, I get it for the best parts. How are those? You know, not the terrible parts and the waking up early and all that. And she's amazing. And so it's worrisome because she's such an amazing kid. It makes me fall in love with having a kid. But I'm not there for how hard it is. So it's like creates a false sense of wanting to have a kid.
Wait, so are you not sure if you want to have kids?
No, I'm sure I
Okay.
do. I just don't know if I really do. You know?
How great. Well, so that means
Do
you're
you know
not
what I mean?
sure. Yeah.
Like I would want kids, and I
Right.
do want kids, but there's always this part of my mind that's like, you don't actually know how responsible you have to be to pull off being a father.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like you don't know, are you really going to want to have to wake up at 6 a.m. for years? Are you really going to want to have to, you know, like you have to be really fiscally responsible. There's a lot of money, you know, like that part of my brain is like, should I have kids? But I basically have vowed I want kids. And if I feel that I have earned the responsibility for myself in this life, then I will have them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I think that's a good. I mean, I think people like.
As well as having the right, like for sure, partner that like, okay, we
Yeah.
would be great. We would be great parents, right?
Oh, completely. I think that's what you're like with your partner is so. And if you want to make sure that you two can have productive conflict, this is me just fucking coaching.
No,
Even though-
absolutely. It's
even
not
though
how
I've
you. No, it's not about like who you marry and have kids with. Isn't about how you get along. It's about how you guys don't get along.
Because you model that, and
yeah.
then the
how,
key, yeah.
like I don't want to know what you guys are like when you hang out. I want to know what you're like when you fight.
Yeah, and you better.
do you fight?
And
Do you
you
fight
better
well?
fight. And any couple that tells me they don't fight, it's like then you're probably not a good relationship. Because usually what that means,
Absolutely.
is
They're not talking about
Right.
anything of substance because they're scared.
yeah, either one person's shutting it down and not realizing it, or the other person's just too cowardly to bring it up. And all my friends. So now I'm at the age where a lot of people are getting divorced. And the people who are getting divorced, when I talk to them about the relationships, it's a lot of, I've been unhappy for 10 years and I've just not said anything. And now I'm out.
That's why like I vow that whatever, or the biggest thing I want to implement in relationships going forward is soon as something's bothering me, immediately bring it up.
Yeah.
Immediately. Like, I mean, not like in the moment, but like, you know, within that day or week, because I know that as soon as I push something down,
Yeah.
I have a really hard time justifying ever bringing it up because I'm like, well, who am I to bring that up now? I should have then. That's not fair to bring that up now, a year in, 6 months in,
Totally.
when I felt that the whole time but didn't say anything. That's fucked up.
Dude,
you know?
It's I can think of 3 divorces in which one person.
You've been
each one-
divorced 3 times?
I wish. That means I'd have to get committed married, and I'm not close to that. I'm still pulling out. Like we said, I got to work on putting it back
Yeah,
in.
you're emotionally pulling out.
Yeah. No, my friends of mine, I've like 3 divorces, and all these 3 that I'm thinking about, one person has been dealing with resentment that they were not voicing, and then by the time they bring it out or bring it up, they're already emotionally done with the relationship. And all these people even went.
No,
to
you
therapy.
are self-sabotaging your relationship ever working by doing that.
Yeah.
And that's what I didn't realize,
Yeah.
because again, people pleaser very hard. I don't want to share things that are going to really hurt somebody or make them feel really bummed or insecure or unhappy. And so I'm like, God, that's going to hurt them. I need to soften this blow somehow. But ultimately, I now realize it's worse. It was worse to not tell them and live in a false, sense of security or reality. And it seems like a nice thing to do, but it's not.
Yeah, I think where I always, because I'm a people pleaser too. I think where I would show up in relationships is I'd show up, and I would think that if I'm really good, and if even if they're not treating me well, or if they got a lot of expectations, it's like if I show up and I'm trying always to do everything that they need, and then once I've met their needs, they're going to turn around and figure out mine. But the problem is I'm never telling them what I need. I'm just trying to do all these great. I'm trying
You're
to be
a giver, not a receiver.
Right. Well, no, I want to receive, but I want them to figure it out.
But you want them to figure it out. You think they're going to be like you, which is like you're constantly trying to figure that out.
Right. Yeah.
And honestly, that means that you should be with a people pleaser.
Probably.
Because then you have this, yin yang of when you're low, I'm high. I got you. Oh, and then when I'm low, I got you. I got you. Which is doable. You could find that.
I'm ready to be doable.
Yeah. Well, we'll end on that because I think that this is the most important. If you are a people pleaser, hit up Tyler Hinz on Instagram.
Very doable. Very doable.
It's been a pleasure to hang and chat, dude.
Thanks for having me. It's very fun.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for being the, I believe, 5th guest on the podcast. And it was great to talk about comedy and life, and always a pleasure to see you. Definitely go check out Tyler's socials, whatever. I'll put it in the bio of the episode, just for events or comedy shows. And come by this Saturday for the comedy show at 11th hour.
9 p.m., baby.
Yep. Every I always forget. It's every
first Saturday. Every
first
Saturday.
Yeah, every first Saturday of the month, we do a comedy show here at the shop. It's always a banger. We got great people on the lineup. And so be sure to grab some tickets for that. And hope you guys enjoyed the new podcast, Naked with Your Neighbors. And we'll see you next time.
Thumbs up.
Peace, y'all.